about as an idea?
Yeah, well, I'm a musician, you know, but I do have a performer streak. I guess I actually have stayed in character and is running around here screaming "burn." Right? I think that was the lyric. And so I have that, but you know, I'm not a theater person. I don't write screenplays and none of those things. I write songs. So Cafe Rizzo was really the brainchild of people that are a little more theatrical than me. I mean, I can jump in and do that. So that was Nora, and then Brad Vogel, who's not here. So the menu, and I hope you all will look at it over there. There's the Cafe Rizzo menu on the chalkboard. Those are all kids. I'm not a poet. So it's funny, as with all these things, as with music, it's all these different roles that people play. Like one's the lyricist, one's the drummer, one's the dancing monkey, but the other person makes sure it all fits together. Anyway, my point was one thing I've learned is the important component of arts and music in all these movements. So going way back to like the Gardens, right? Like something artistic had to happen in there. And also I think it's, as activists, it's kind of good to show who you are. So then I think with the voice of gowanus, I was always like, okay, we're talking some things, it's the data. And then on the other hand, who are we, you know? And that is also one thing that the opposition can't do, right? You know, they've got to be like stuffed shirts and all that stuff. So we need to use, just strategically, we need to be able to do things that they can't do. It's funny with Cafe Rizzo, the reason I was so down with it right away, again, it wasn't exactly my idea, was I realized that our adversaries couldn't do that. So we had Open New York, for instance, and you know, the Gowanus Canal Conservancy, they can't do that because they have to stick in sort of their parameters. It's like an Achilles heel that they have. So we need to get in there. Also, I think it became really apparent to me with Occupy Wall Street was how important again, really, it's like that's like what Ben's been saying. It's like it's got to be a big picture of the use of public spaces. So like activism is like this whole like you're creating a whole like cosmology and this whole experience. So really, why don't I get it? What really keeps me going is actually the enjoyment in activism. Is really the bottom line. So people that are being brought into participating in activism, even if they're not the organizers, there needs to be a whole big picture of what it is. And so I think that when people see that, think about the 60s, for instance. You know, it wasn't just people protesting, there was like music, it was protest music. So it's got to be a whole picture. So I remember with, you know, with Occupy, I really thought the puppet shows were pretty important. You know, so also one thing worth mentioning is in the East Village, the school, and we saw C Squad there. It was like a hot image there of C Squad. It's either C because it was on Avenue C or CSEE on 10th Street and Avenue C. And it's funny because that spot was very important for the gardens movement and the bicycle movement. And it seemed like they had developed the whole technology of using bicycles for generators for electricity, right? Which is important when they were a supplier of energy during the blackout of Lower Manhattan after Hurricane Sandy. But anyway, so C Squad was crucial for hardcore music. You know, so a lot of these bands that I used to love, like the Cro-Mags and Orange Knives Elevator and stuff like that. Like that's where they got their start. So it was a whole like Nassau County, Long Island to East Village pipeline, like right through C Squad. And that's been kind of sort of forgotten, but I thought that was pretty crucial. Also, and this is a whole interconnectivity. In 1978, I was part of this like no-wave 12-hour festival in a theater over on First Avenue in Manhattan, and then the organizers, the owners of the theater were really pissed off with us, so they cut off the electricity at midnight. And we weren't done, and so it was like a big scramble. So people went down to C Squad, and then they got people with the bicycles to bring, you know, to go to 3 blocks over to the theater, and then with the pedal power and provide the electricity so we could finish the music. music till about 2 a.m. And that included like Glenn Branca, by the way, who was an important no-wave composer. So I'm just saying all these things connected.
Well, I feel like that connectivity was really a part of the film. Also, I appreciated how you kind of wove in some of the bicycle culture right into that what ended up helping during Sandy and the aftermath of that. I'm curious, Ben, what kind of reactions you got from the activists that you profiled in the film. What did they think of the end result?
I mean, I think that activists mostly want to see that you get something done. And I think that's public space is always expanding and contracting in New York City, but we move forward. I mean, this weekend, one of the